Everybody likes sweet things. It just tastes better. Ask any kid, do they like sweet food or not sweet food? Sweetness makes food taste better. But at what point in time does it go from being a food that just tastes better to a problem? Where do you cross the line? Imagine having a cup of coffee, and you have your coffee, maybe in the morning, a cup of coffee, and you put some sugar in your coffee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 spoons of sugar in your coffee. Imagine having that kind of sugar in your coffee. Who can drink that? At what point in time did it go from being sweetening to being crossing a line to being too sweet? Where's that line between being okay and being dangerous to the body? Because sugar, is needed for the body, for the brain to function, energy to metabolize. We need sugars in our blood. We have about 2 teaspoons of sugar circulating in our body at any one point in time. So you need sugar in the blood. But at what point in time does it become a problem, dangerous for you? A lot of sugar in the blood, for instance, sugar comes in, something called insulin is excreted to make the sugar drop back down to a normal level. When that happens, though, when sugar comes from a high to a low level, okay, blood sugar now remains more stable. Where does sugar go? Went into the body cells, and it's stored as energy. And how do we store energy in the body? As muscle? As bone? No. We store it as fat. Sugar turns into fat. Ironically, fat does not make fat. Sugar makes fat. And have a little fat storage in your body, a little fat, okay, a little pudge. It's not so terrible, but at what point in time does it cross the line being a problem that you develop diabetes? The body has so much insulin shooting the body, sugar going up and down, it creates diabetes. And diabetes has all kinds of problems, diabetes. And look how many kids are out there nowadays who are diabetic. Look at all the children out there who are obese children. These poor kids, they don't know any better. They're eating stuff. At what point in time do they cross the line from eating normal, having a food that is somewhat sweet and palatable, to a problem food? Where's that line? How do you know? And then from diabetes, you can develop a person with high blood pressure, joint problems. Kids with a lot of high sugar problems have a hard time thinking and concentrating. The blood sugar sometimes goes up and then comes back down again, creating hypoglycemia, which means low sugar in the blood. You can't think, get fuzzy, get foggy, maybe perhaps you get irritable or sleepy. So we're going to talk a little about sugar and why and how sugar can become a problem. For starters, we look at the sugar content of things we're taking into our diet. Our bodies are designed to metabolize food, digest food, extract the nutrients we need, amino acids from proteins, fatty acids from fats, and of course we have sugars from carbohydrates. Let's look at common drinks like Coca-Cola. People like drinking Coke and Pepsi and these kind of soft drinks. If you'll notice the Coca-Cola in here, number of carbohydrates per serving is right there. Look, you can see right there, it's 39 grams of carbohydrate per 12-ounce serving. Do you know how many grams of carbohydrate equals 1 teaspoon of sugar? 4.2. We'll call it 4 for the sake of rounding out the numbers. 4 grams equals 1 teaspoon. So if there's 39 grams, call it 40 grams, make it easy. And 4 grams per teaspoon, that is 10 teaspoons of sugar in a cup of Coke. I only put 6 spoons in here. Imagine putting 10 spoons in a cup of coffee. That's what Coke is. So you say, okay, that's Coca-Cola. Let's find something maybe a little less toxic, like iced tea. How bad could tea be? So here's an iced tea. A lot of kids like flavored tea, like peach tea. And take a look at the carbohydrate content here. Look at this number right there. 58 grams. That's almost 15 spoonfuls of sugar in this one bottle. So you say, okay, maybe that's a lot. Maybe it's a tea. How about something healthy like vitamin water? How bad could that be? Well, take a look over here. 32 grams. That's 8 spoonfuls of sugar in this. 8 spoonfuls of sugar? We'll say, okay, well maybe it's just because they're artificial beverages. How about taking a look at like juice, like grape juice, good old-fashioned grape juice. How bad could that be? Grape juice, look at the count here. 34 grams of sugar, and that's only 8 ounces. That means there's 8 spoonfuls of in 8 ounces. That's worse than Coke for the sugar content. Oh, so maybe how about orange juice? All the nutrients in orange juice and vitamin C. Orange juice is a good thing to have for breakfast, isn't it, they say? Well, take a look over here. The carbohydrate content is 39 grams of sugar per 8 ounces. That's worse than Coca-Cola. Fruit juices have an enormous amount of sugar in them. Did you know it takes 6 oranges or 8 apples to make 1 cup of the juice? 6 oranges make 1 cup of orange juice, 8 apples to make 1 cup of apple juice. That's a lot of sugar. You can drink 8 ounces of orange juice, you can eat 6 oranges in one sitting. And oranges have all the stuff in it. There's the pulp in there, and the nutrition in there, bioflavonoids, you have the fiber. There's a lot of stuff involved in the fruit itself that's it's better tolerated by the body. The juice is just pure sugar water. You might say, well, fructose, natural sugars versus sucrose, which is artificial sugar. The body says sugar. Sugar, sugar. Blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up and down. The fat, you develop a whole cycle. Again, it doesn't matter the source of sugar. Sugar is sugar. Now, if you look at these drinks, you'll notice something else in these drinks. Take a look at Coca-Cola. In this Coke, you'll notice in all the soft drinks you have something called acid. Here, look, it has phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid. In these drinks here, you have citric acid. Check every drink you want. You will always find acid in those drinks. Fruit drinks are naturally acidic. Why is there acid in these drinks? Because that amount of sugar is nauseating. You'll vomit it up. You can't tolerate that in your system. So you might say, well, have a little less sugar and skip the acid. No, they know something very special. They know that level of sugar in your body, especially with caffeine, has the same effect on the brain as does cocaine. It's addicting. The sugar becomes a problem, becomes addicting. You can't control yourself. There are people who drink 2 to 4 liters of Coke every single day. People can drink like a quart, half a gallon of juice every day. Why? Because that amount of sugar is addicting. The more you have, the more you want. And you begin eating foods you would not normally eat. You eat far more your body needs, hence obesity. And all the problems associated with obesity. And the social stigma, the metabolic issues, and the brain fog, and they can't move and function as well. And over time, it does catch up with everybody. And so these things cause you to cross the line from normal consumption to an abnormal consumption. Look, when you're stressed out, when you're feeling sad or worried, or you need some comfort food, do you grab a carrot? No. Cake, pies, ice cream, crackers, cookies. Grab something. Those things have a lot of sugar in them. And your body craves these things because sugar also numbs the mind. People don't realize this, that sugar has a numbing effect on your brain. So of course you feel a little more calm, a little more relaxed. Ah, yeah, it feels good. You just got a buzz. Your brain has now been hit like with cocaine, and you have a numbing effect in your brain. Hence you can't function or think as well. Just look at children in school who've had a healthy breakfast, who have had a high sugar breakfast, and watch the difference in their behavior and their learning. Just take this watch. You might say, well, in that case, let's just make sugar-free beverages. using artificial sweeteners, NutraSweet, Splenda, aspartame, sucralose, whatever, what have you. Well, that's a good idea, no sugar. What's the problem now? The problem is those substances are direct neurotoxins. They directly injure the brain. They directly affect how your mind thinks and functions. Numerous studies have shown this over and over again, that when children, also adults, have artificial sweeteners, their brain works less well. They can focus less well and they function less well because they're neurotoxins. The sugars, natural sugars are, they make food edible. But when you cross a line, you become eating far more than you need and have problems. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Kids need to drink liquids. What do you do? Well, one thing you do is drink, of course, water, bottled water. Also, alkaline water is very good. Not for little kids, but alkaline water is very good. Or you can't, by the way, you have water, have it filtered. Get a good water filter. Because tap water does not taste that good. And it's no fun drinking something that doesn't taste good. So good water filter makes a big difference. Or you take a bottle of water and you want some flavor in the water, put a tea bag in the water. Put a tea bag. And let it gently shake it back and forth. Gently, 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 gently. And within a few minutes, you'll notice the water turns color. It absorbs the tea from the tea bag. And you have a flavored water. It's inexpensive. It's safe. Water with a tea bag in it. And kids like it. Matter of fact, you'll probably like it as well. Sometimes kids won't drink it. Little kids especially. They need some sort of sweetness to get them to drink. Okay, so you put an ounce of juice in there. In a liter of water, 1 ounce. It'll flavor it, give a little sweetness, change the color a bit, more palatable for the kids to drink. That's another option. What about seltzer? Seltzer water. Seltzer is fine. Take a seltzer, you can put also put a little juice in there, a little bit of grape juice, and it becomes like grape soda. These are all options to use to help your kids drink. Because liquid drinking is very, very important. Very important. As far as your coffee goes, well, do you really need sugar at all in your coffee? Do you really need it? Now that you know how it affects the brain, maybe you'll think twice about how much sugar you put in your coffee, if sugar at all. I hope this has been helpful to you. Learn about how to hydrate yourself, what to avoid, and when sugar becomes a problem, when you cross the line. These beverages can be damaging. Cheers to your health.